When things don't go the way you planned, you have two choices. You either start over and you move forward. Good morning. This is Kelly's from Kelly's Creative Dream Studio, and today we're starting over, and that was with the video that I recorded yesterday. And the more I thought about it this morning after I woke up, I didn't care for it. So I'm starting the video over. Some of the things I have done have already been done from the first video, but I think we'll be okay. So it's Monday. We have 2 weeks left to finish this journal. And since I am doing multiple projects, yes, Big Mama, I do multiple projects at once because different things on different videos for different days. So Mondays we're finishing up this journal for my December daily from last year. And all I'm worrying about is getting the pages done. I can print the pictures and do those later, but right now I just want to get the journal part done. So the papers that I'm using are from Tina at Shabbydabbydoodah. I will link her Etsy shop down below. She does not have the Christmas papers in her shop. I looked because I was going to link them last week. But you might message her on Etsy and ask her if she still has those available and if you'd like to purchase those. So I will link the names of the collection down below, and I will link Tina's Etsy shop. Okay, so we've got this, and I've decided, I think, that for the insides, I'm going to do what I've been calling this angel wing pattern. And I think it's going to make a nice inside cover. Not this, of course, but this pattern. And then what I did was I printed all of the papers, that gluey thing down out of the way. I printed all the papers on cardstock. And I have them lying here somewhere. There they are. And I printed them on 2 sides. So one side is this angel pattern, and then the other side is, let me see if I can pull one of those so you can see it. Will be like this pattern or this pattern, and any of the other pattern designs. And then I cut them. They should have been cut at 7 by 9 because they would have fit. This journal is basically the size of a classic happy planner, but it's not going to work. They weren't measured just right, so they're going to be smaller, and I'm okay with that because we'll have this on the inside like this, and that'll cover the whole thing, and then we'll have the pages. So I'm okay with that. It's my journal. It's not one I'm selling, so I'm going to go with that. So I've cut these all out, and I may have to go back and print more because on a full page they didn't quite match up, as you saw with this one. So to get the page, I had to cut them here, and so it didn't quite give me the whole page size. So I've got these going one direction, and so when you turn the page, you'll have this as a layout. And then we'll turn this one, and then that one, and that layout. And so sometimes the plane will be on this side, sometimes the plane will be on this side. I think that's how that's going to work. So I'm going to play with that this week and get those figured out. And we'll have the pages in the book next week. Now, to put the pages in the book, I do need hole reinforcers. And I have a couple of options. Take another drink of my lemon water. It is really early. I've been up all of 10 minutes, but I want to get this done so I can get up to record. Oh, thank you. I have a couple of options for a hole reinforcer. Number one, I can do what I've always done. And I think I have. There it is. And that is to take a 1/4 inch, standard 1/4 inch hole punch, and just punch a series of holes, leaving you about a 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch space between each one, because you want to leave yourself room to come back with your 1/2 inch hole punch. I'm going to scoot those out of the way. Don't throw your dots away because you can use those to embellish your items. And then you come back with the 1/2 inch punch, center your 1/4, and punch it out. Now if you wanted, you could use this as a strip on your page edge and weave ribbon through it and have another effect, so you'd have double use of that. And then we have our hole reinforcers. Now I also have a couple of dies. I have this one, and I got both of these from Maddie, but this one has a standard hole punch die that I could just run these through my small die cutting machine like my Sidekick, and I could print these out 2 at a time. Or, now these are 2 different sizes. You'll notice the holes on these for the tabs are 2 different sizes, and so are the hole reinforcers. I also have this one, which gives me the hexagons and the stars. And I thought about the stars just for a little added interest, and I may do that. Now this will cut out a strip of 3 at a time, so I'm okay with that. So I may go back and use this one. So we have the hole reinforcers figured out. Now I had to go through and look and see what I wanted for color. And I used the colors on the Santa to kind of guide me. And I wound up I used my Stampin' Up! Colors. And I wound up just kind of selecting my rings down here. And I wound up going with a poppy red from Stampin' Up! I thought this was the closest to Santa. Surprisingly, real red was not. I was really shocked. Here's rose red, ruby red. Like this one. That's a red, just wasn't it. Now the cardstocks might have been a little closer. Here's Riding Hood red. And here was ruby red. I had a real red in here too. I'm not seeing it now. There's poppy. See, poppy comes closer to that vintage tone. And then lipstick wasn't going to do it. I think this one's the real red I was looking at. Watermelon. Cherry cobbler was too brown. So I wound up going with poppy. Hang this back up before I lose track of where it's at. And sage, or shaded spruce. Let me pull a smaller piece of shaded spruce out of here. I have my sample bag, and this is where I started pulling first for my hole reinforcers. And then the shaded spruce went closer with this. And I could have used a lighter green, but I didn't like any of the greens that were in there. So that's how I chose my colors to use for my hole reinforcer. I thought about the pattern paper at first, like using the holly and letting it pop, but I didn't want the holly to conflict with something else that might have been on the page. So I decided to go with the solid colors for the hole reinforcers. So we have those in progress. Now, the other thing is from the, I took one of these number sheets with me to Hobby Lobby last week, and I came up with these. These were the closest thing I could find that I liked to go with this for size and balance. And there are candy canes in throughout this paper. Didn't like the holly. It looked more like a Rudolph nose, so I didn't go with this with the holly. If they'd have been separated, maybe. But I really like the candy canes. So I started with those. And this is what I started doing with them. And they were just the perfect size to add a little bit of balance without overpowering the deer on either side. And so I started with those. Now, I only picked up 4 packages. I should have picked up 5 because to get the candy canes I wanted, there's only 3, 4, 5, 6. There's only 7 per size on here, per package on here of the candy canes, which means I need to get, and I don't know why I was thinking 28, but I've got to have 35 or 31 of these. So to do that, I have to get 5 packages. I thought that one was different. Oh, I skipped 4. I knew there was something going on there. Now, I could also use the Christmas balls. Like I said, there's candy canes elsewhere on this pattern, so I decided to go with the candy canes, and I can work them back and forth. And I like how they have the, she has the reindeer going on opposite sides of the tags. So, and that's why I have so many copies of this particular ephemera page, is because I needed to get enough of those tags to do 31. And I went on a little crooked. See if we can straighten him up. Okay. So we have those going for us. And I may sit here and finish those this morning while I drink my tea. Set them aside. So that's where we are at. We have the book is covered. I have the pages cut out. I may have to print out more of these since I couldn't use the exact half page. I may have to print out more of these so that I get enough pages in the book. So I'll get that done. The pages will be in by next Monday, and I'll have the inside cover. And then next week we'll get some decorating done. So I know this is a short video this morning, but that's what happens when you have retakes. And I'm still trying to wake up. So in the meantime, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And tell me, do you do December Daily, or would you do something different with this journal? Thanks for joining me in the studio this bright, early Monday morning. And creative Christmas blessings.